Hey guys, SFawn82 back at you with a brand new video. And on today's video, I wanted to talk about Geiger and the expanding Geiger Universe. This is a book that I've really enjoyed since April of last year. I really got attached to the glowing man. That I've really enjoyed that character and the story that Geoff Johns has told us so far. And I wanted to celebrate Geiger today. So that's what we're going to do. But if you could please like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out comic book related content like this on a weekly basis. And I really would love it if you guys were on board for the ride. Now back to the topic at hand. Geiger is a creation. It's on the Image Comics imprint and Mad Ghost Productions, which is a production company of Geoff Johns. It's a creation of Geoff Johns and Gary Frank. A lot of the covers are done by Brad Anderson and Brian Hitch, and also many others. And the first 6 issues of Geiger, they're telling you the story about this struggling man who is, he's got this cancer. And he's protecting, it's post-apocalyptic America. You know, they're in the desert outside Las Vegas, and he's guarding his family and just trying to survive and just not doing well. And you get emotionally attached to this character. And before I go any farther, I will warn you there will be spoilers. So if you're not up to date on your Geiger, I would suggest reading it and coming back. But anyways, we find out that, by issue 6, that the glowing man met his demise. So you're like, where are they going to go from there? And, I'm like, they're going to end it already. It was such a good story. And then they come out with news that Geiger is going to be an expanding universe and that the glowing man was just a small part of that universe. And that kind of reignited my excitement, I guess, towards the series. And they come out with this 80-page giant, this Geiger special. And I read it. It came out last week. I read it a couple nights ago. And it was really good. I like where they're going with this so far. And that's what this video is. I was going to talk a little bit about this 80-page special. I was going to show you guys my Geiger collection and just show the series some love, really. And I read this, and it was a good introduction to Redcoat. His real name is Simon Pure. He gets granted immortality, and we get a little story about him. And from what I understand, he is a creation of Brian Hitch and Geoff Johns. We get a little bit of his story. And then it takes you to the Safari, and it tells you about the original owner, Safari Bill, and it ends up changing hands to Safari Bob. And without giving too much away, Safari Bill meets his demise and is replaced by Safari Bob. Then it moves to the Karloff, which is like a haunted themed, monster themed type deal. And we're introduced to Bernie the Madman, who's like, if you lose a poker bet at this table, you're going to lose limbs or an organ or something. And it's just a crazy environment like that. And they have Wolfman security, and it's crazy. And then it takes you to Nero's, which is like a Roman, it's a Roman themed casino type deal where it's like gladiators fighting to the death. And it introduces you to this character, Ursa, and she ends up having to battle. And then it takes you to the Manhattan, which is like Godfather, straight out of the Godfather, old New York type shit. And it's this character, Kira, and it introduces you to the mob boss, the head honcho of that casino, Bonnie Borden, and her 2 henchmen, Noodles and Joey Bananas. And you get a little story about them. And then it takes you to Goldbeards, and it gives you a story about Marcus the Pirate and his son Jarvis, and they're on a hunt for gold. And that was an enjoyable little story. You learn a little bit about Saturn VII, which was founded by George Flynn. It's taken over by some bad people, and George Flynn's daughter is out to avenge her father's death and take what's theirs, what's the family's. From there, it takes you to the shooting star, which is mentioned briefly in a little story. And it is owned by a woman named Milky Way, who is supposedly in love with the glowing man. That's what is said about her. And it doesn't show Milky Way inside it, but on this main cover, it shows a picture of Milky Way. So I'm thinking that's her right there. And then we get a few more glimpses of Junkyard Joe. Just a couple more pictures of him and the same little comic strip that's on the back of Geiger issue 1, if you've ever seen that. But you get a little more on Junkyard Joe. You get a cool little, you get this cool little timeline. I'll show you here of like the origins of the characters and when these events happen. And you also, this is kind of an important thing here. It gives you like a map of the different casinos and the places. So this is basically the Geiger Universe. You get a little map of that, and thought that was kind of cool. There's that comic strip I was telling you about with the Junkyard Joe. It's actually the back cover of Geiger issue 1. But yeah, that's the Geiger special. I wanted to run through. I was going to show you guys my Geiger collection while we're celebrating. This is Geiger issue 1. This is the main cover. I have a second copy right there. That's the one that started it all in April of last year. Then Eric Larson did a cover for this, which I've always thought was really awesome. I have an extra of this one as well. That's probably my favorite cover, honestly, of the Geiger series. And you know me, I gotta grab a blank. I gotta have the blank sketch variant. I definitely want something done on that one day. Then they came out with a really cool glow-in-the-dark a little while later. This is still considered first print, but it's a glow-in-the-dark. Then they did a second print. That one's really cool. That's one of the cooler covers to me. And then they did a third print. And it's very similar to the second print, except this one says, stare at my nose for 30 seconds without blinking, then look at the ceiling. And if you do that and look at the ceiling, you see him in the ceiling. And then they did a fourth and final print for issue 1. And it's the same, you can see, it's the same as issue 1, just the letters are a different color. The background, the cover, everything's a different color. Here is issue 2. I grabbed several variants. I don't know. I just love the character so much that I had to have every different cover I could find with him on the front. So that's another variant with, and that's got Barney, the two-headed dog, on it as well. This has Geiger's family standing at the top of the hill. This is still issue 2, and it's Geiger fighting off those big-ass beetle-type bugs, whatever they are. And here's the second printing for issue 2. It's that same cover, but in black and white. Just without the coloring. Then we move on to issue 3. And if you read the first arc of Geiger, you know whose skull that is, unfortunately. It's really sad. There is another variant for issue 3. I had to grab this one because all the characters are like this greenish color. Or all the covers are like this greenish color. Most of they all have that, but this was a totally different color scheme. And I thought it was unique, so I had to grab it. And then I grabbed, on accident, I grabbed 2 copies of this cover, which that's a cool cover, so that'll work. I got this variant for issue 3. Then this is the second printing for issue 3. Then we move on to issue 4. And then we got issue 5. And remember, that's the sister and brother that Geiger is escorting through the desert to safety. Here is issue 6. You get your first little glimpse of Junkyard Joe on this cover before he was ever even in the book, I think. But that's actually Junkyard Joe's face and the reflection of the glowing man in his eyes. That's our first glimpse of Junkyard Joe on issue 6. And here is a cover with Barney and the children on it again. That's another variant for issue 6. Here's a second printing for issue 6. I guess this would be the first full cover first cover appearance for Junkyard Joe, if there was going to be, but it's second printing for issue 6. And at that point, Glowing Man's dead. You think the series is done, and then they surprise you with the expanding universe. And, you know, a little while later, we get, after a couple of delays, we get the special 80-page that we just went over. That's the main cover for it. And so you got Milky Way, you got Barney, you got a mugshot of Bonnie Borden, Goldbeard's Secret Treasure, Safari Bob, Tales of the Unknown War. This is the Bonnie Borden cover. I guess it would, if they did something with her, that would be her first cover appearance, if she's ever a character of importance. This was a really sought after, this was the most sought after out of all the covers for the 80-page Redcoat, because he's for sure getting his own series. And I think it actually is coming out this year. So look out for Redcoat. That should be a good one. I had to get this one because you got Barney again, and you got the Glowing Man in the background. And surprisingly, this was the only variant cover with the Glowing Man on it. But yeah, that's my collection for Geiger. I'm also going to do, I like giving away comics. It's just something I like to do, and I like to receive comics, you know. So who doesn't like being given comics? So pretty much give away comics almost every video. And I'll drop a little hint somewhere in the video, and if anybody picks up on the hint, I'll send these your way. I'll send them out this coming Tuesday. This is a copy of Geiger issue 2. Then you got, let's see, you got a copy of Geiger issue 3, and then you got your very own copy of issue 3 second print. So you got Geiger issue 2, you got Geiger issue 3, and you got Geiger issue 3 second print. So anybody that gets the password, lets me know down in the comments. I'm sending those your way Tuesday. And that's all I got for y'all, man. Thanks for watching the video and talking about Geiger with me. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.